There was this episode on Showtime Boxing. It was like Gervonta Davis. It was like years ago. It's like 5 years ago when he was like training with Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather said some shit, right? Shout out to the GOAT, but he said some shit. He said, when they asked him about Gervonta Davis, he said, I've been his age and I've been where he's trying to go to, and I've accomplished what he's trying to accomplish already, right? That's why I feel qualified to help him out, right? And that shit was deep. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. And another thing he said was, let your action do the talking. Let your action do the talking. And that's what a lot of you guys need to do, man. Like, the reason mentors are so important are because they have done what you're trying to do. They've got to where you're trying to get to. They've had the same struggles you had, and now they are where you want to be, right? So they've already accomplished that. You see what I'm saying? And when you see someone who is in that state, they're at your standards, they're going to carry themselves differently, period. Like, first thing I notice, if I'm coaching someone to like 30%, down to even 15%, their standards are fucked. All right, my standards are at 10%. My standards are different, than the average person's standards. They just are. My standards are higher, and I'm just more aware of shit when it comes to, health, working out, nutrition, shit like that. I'm more conscious of that stuff because my standards are higher for that. There are some people who are super out of shape, right? But if you go on a Reddit forum, their standards for cameras, their standards for, like the kind of cameras they use are so high. Like, I was in some Reddit forums and, a bunch of out of shape people, but the way they were talking about cameras, they're like, I would never use something that can't shoot 120 FPS at 4K. Like, are you serious? That is so 1905. And they just have these high ass standards, and they were saying other shit like, dude, like, if you're only gonna spend $1,500 on a camera, why don't you just go off yourself, idiot? You're not real. Or if you're gonna use CapCut instead of DaVinci Resolve, I don't know what to tell you, but you're a preschooler in this shit. Like, their standards for camera gear and how high quality their content was up here, and that's why they're the best at what they do. However, by the same token, the motherfuckers was out of shape. Now, when it comes to being in shape, right, a lot of you guys need to raise your standards, and that's why you're not where you need to be, right? And when you get around people who are where you want to be, like I said, when Gervonta Davis is around Floyd Mayweather, like, Gervonta Davis is doing this thing, he's killing it, and then Floyd is just on the next level. He's like, that's not that good. Do this, switch up this. You need to work on this. You need to work on that. So this is the first time Gervonta Davis is like, damn, like, I know I can get better, but damn, these are like good pointers, and this is like shit that I would never thought about. This will take me to the next level. That's how a lot of you guys are. You're stuck at a 20-25% body fat. And you're like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm eating okay and I'm working out. I don't know what's going on. You're not dialed in on the systems. You're not dialed in on the small key points that you need. You're not meticulous enough, right? Getting from 40% to 25% is cool. It just means you don't eat shit. Getting to 25 to 20% just means you're a little bit consistent. Getting below 20%, you got to start paying attention to what you're eating, your calories. Getting 15 and below, definitely have to pay attention to your calories. 10%, you have to lock in, and you have to be very fucking consistent, persistent, ambitious, and mentally have a very, very strong willpower. All right, so it's gonna take all those things. But having a mentor like Gervonta Davis had Floyd Mayweather, it just makes a huge fucking difference. Like, I remember the first time I started hanging around like leaner people and people who were like, on my level, like, inspired me and shit like that. Like, I would pay attention to what they did, listen to what they say, and pick up on certain things. And that took me to the next level fast as shit. Literally took me to the next level fast as shit. Everyone here knows the first time they listened to David Goggins, right? Everyone here remembers the first time they listened to David Goggins. You're like, damn, that's a bad motherfucker, bro. Like, I thought I was, you might have worked out for 3 months straight, ate no cheat meals for 3 months straight. Then you see David Goggins and he's just like, yeah, you're a bitch. I run for days. I run for 24 hours. I do this, I do that. Like, he's on the next level, and you're starting to realize, like, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. But a lot of you guys literally, listen, the reason I say shit like, if you're out of shape, you're not serious, you're not locked in, is because let's all be honest, to be 15% body fat, you can eat bullshit every weekend and eat okay on the weekdays and just work out 4 times a week and you'll be 15%. Like, in order to be these body fat percentages, these diabolical body fat percentages that I keep seeing, these 40s, these 50s, these 30s, to be these body fats, you have to be absolutely just super lazy, super locked out, super inactive, eating pastries and pizza every day. Like, it takes a lot of work to be that out of shape. So I already know off rip, like, based on those body fat percentages, like the average body fat is 28%. That just means you're sitting around all day, ignoring the gym, eating like absolute shit. Because even if you missed the gym and you didn't eat too shitty, you still be like 15 to 20, right? So that's what I'm saying. A lot of you guys are so comfortable listening to your own excuses, so comfortable with your own bullshit. You know, you're so used to your own bullshit. You believe your own bullshit that you're just not doing anything. You're not getting outside your comfort zone. And because you're not getting out of your comfort zone, you're not getting your results, and you don't know why. And then you start hanging around people and they're like, hey, every weekend you go out drinking and you eat a lot of food at Outback. That's definitely holding you back. And you're like, huh, maybe that is holding me back. They're like, hey man, every other week you go to the gym 5 days, and then 5 days that week, and the next week you only go to the gym 1 day. That's reducing your potential to build muscle. And they're like, huh, maybe that is true. And then it's like, hey man, every time you go to the gym you lift the same weights or less because you're not tracking. These small things add up over time, right? And they're going to cause you to not see results. And when you don't see results, you're going to get discouraged. So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of you guys need to focus on action, because everything you want is on the other side of action, like I said in that live, right? But everything you want is on the other side of action. All that talking doesn't do shit. That's number one. Number two, right? You need to start watching people who actually fucking inspire you, all right? And kind of pick up on what they say and do what they say before you're like, oh, it doesn't work. You didn't give it time to work. Be patient, right? Another thing I would recommend is having some kind of mentors, or like I said, you can use YouTube or Instagram. Start following people who are actually locked in, who aren't on steroids, all right? If someone's on steroids, their lifestyle might be different. It might confuse you. They might be going out a lot and staying lean. So you're like, oh, maybe I could go out a lot. You can't go out a lot. You can't. Don't do it. You can't drink and go out a lot. Like, it's not gonna happen, all right? So start following people who inspire you. Start setting realistic goals. Start taking more fucking action.